Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Dove's Story Time. And in house, we have a special guest today. Do you remember Hitana? Well, this is her sister. This is Socks. See her socks? She's got little socks on her feet. She's going to listen to the story with us. And we have an awesome book today by a really awesome artist. And his name is Stephen Kellogg. And I encourage you to write down that name. Have your mom or dad bring you to the library and ask the nice librarian, could you please show me some books by Mr. Stephen Kellogg? And I'll tell you why. Because his artwork is the kind of book that you can have it open and you can search through his artwork to find little details here and there that make you smile. And that's why we read, right? We read to learn and we read to smile. And he's a real good artist and storyteller. And today's book is called The Island of the Skog. And so we're going to read about this, and our featured people in it are these little mice. Here you can see those mice, and they're running away from the cat up there in the left corner. They're running away, and they're going across over to the clock. This is the entry page of the book. And here on the boat is called the Flying Rose. And you can't see her, but the lady who is operating the camera right now, her name is Rosa. So a special shout out to her and for all of her good work. So let's go into this nice story. It was National Rodent Day. Now maybe you don't know what a rodent is. A rodent is a mouse or a rat, a hamster, a guinea pig. All of those animals are called rodents. So it says here, it was National Rodent Day, and Jenny decided to have a party. Hannah, Wooster, and Louise came, and so did Bouncer and his buddies from the bowling alley. They all arrived shaking after a narrow escape from the butcher's cat. Jenny decided to wheel in the dessert right away. Hot marshmallow cheesecake with raspberry fudge sauce, she announced. Well, that sounds good. I don't know about you, but Mr. Dove is very partial to dessert. It's very tasty, and that sounds very good. Meanwhile, the cat had slipped in with the delivery boy, and the mice just barely escaped to the basement. A German shepherd got Granny last night, puffed Hannah. We should stay in our holes. I'm tired of living in a hole, said Jenny. Let's fight for freedom, cried Bouncer. We'll be soldiers, rough-riding rowdies. I'll be the general and commander-in-chief. Wait, cried Jenny. Let's sail away instead. We'll find a peaceful island. And the mice all cheered. Yip, yip, hooray! I'll be the ship's captain, said Bouncer. Rowdies, you're my crew. Well, let's see how this goes. You see the boy taking the cat out the door, and there's a ship, a play ship up at the top of the stairs. And the mice, they're going to go and try to find an island. Let's see how that turns out. It took the mice most of the night to load the ship and roll it to the harbor. Ignoring the crowd at the pier, they sailed bravely out to sea. Look at that. You see the captain looking at the mice bringing the ship down the street. And over here, the ship is in the sea. And all the animals who are the attackers of the mice are out there. And one of them is holding a sign. And it says, good riddance. They're not sad to see the mice go. During the first few days of the voyage, the mice feasted on chocolate waffles. Oh, and coconut cherry cream pie. I think I would like to be on the ship. Between meals, they dreamed of their island and tanned their pelts in the sun. Remember what I was telling you at the beginning of this book about looking at all of the artwork? You're able to sit and you can take a look at a book like this. You can also learn how to draw. Looking at pictures by a great artist, it teaches you how to draw things. Don't feel bad if your picture doesn't look as good as a man's drawing like this. It takes a lot of practice to be this way. And practice is fun. You just keep learning and learning, and before you know it, if your heart's really set on it, you could be drawing as well as him. Well, as the days passed, it grew colder and colder, and the mice were unprepared for winter weather, and they huddled close to the waffle iron. "Land ho!" cried Captain Bouncer one morning as the ship narrowly missed hitting an iceberg. The mice looked at the compass and discovered that they had been sailing towards the North Pole. "The compass must have been upside down," insisted Bouncer. "I'm tired of being captain anyway. I quit." Can you see the mice warming their hands around the waffle iron? That's pretty good, huh? They're making nice waffles and they're warming themselves. And over here, this is where the ship encounters the iceberg. Very scary. So Bouncer decides he doesn't want to be captain anymore because he made a mistake and he's done. By the time they reached warmer seas, their food supplies were very low. The mice were seasick, they were homesick, and they were convinced they would soon be dead. "I'd give $1 billion for one last chocolate-coated cheese puff," moaned a rowdy. Suddenly, Jenny cried, "Land ho!" The book calls it the island of the Skog, said Wooster. "It says population, 1 Skog. But it doesn't say what a Skog is." "Well, if there's only one, then there's plenty of room for all of us," said Louise. "Why don't we bring it a gift so it will know we're friendly?" "Whoa, wait a minute there, flubberhead," snapped Bouncer. "Suppose this Skog is dangerous. Let's blaze our way to the island and show him we mean business." Whose idea do you like best? Do you like Bouncer's idea of going in there with force and being mean to the Skog? Or do you like the girl's idea of bringing him a present and being kind and hoping that they can be friends? I think that's the better choice. Better to try to be friends than to try to be a bully. The rowdies fired all 12 cannonballs, and then the mice waded cautiously ashore. "I claim this land," cried Bouncer, "as a place where all mice can live without fear. We will build a great kingdom dedicated to the freedom of mice, and I will be the king." There were murmurs of surprise from the other mice. "Here we can all feel like kings," said Jenny, "and that is the most important part of being king, as everyone knows." Sounds like Jenny's a better leader than the rowdy mouse. Let's see. Are you liking this story, Socks? She says she does. After unloading their supplies, they somersaulted on the beach through the long, brilliant sun. Do you know how to do a somersault? I would show you one, but I don't want to get hurt. So I'll trust that you know how to do a somersault. How wonderful it was to be on land again. And finally, as the last rays of daylight faded, they climbed back aboard the ship to spend the night. At dawn, they discovered an enormous footprint in the sand. "It looked like a bear track," said Hannah. "Stand aside, tenderfeet," ordered Bouncer. "This is a job for the rough-riding rowdies. We'll use my grandpap's favorite trick. First, we'll dig a deep hole, then we'll cover it with straw and we'll bait it with honey. And tonight the beast will smell the bait, stumbling into the trap, and the island will be ours. By evening, the trap was completed, and the mice spent a sleepless night in a nearby hole. Now, do you remember when I was telling you that this type of artwork has a lot of things to look at? Well, on this page over here, down on the bottom, you see some bottles at the bottom of the page. There's some bottles, and there's notes inside of those bottles. And I'm going to read to you what some of those notes say. One of the notes says, "Dear Mom, we are lost by sea, and we don't know where we are." Another one of the bottles simply says, "Help." So these are kind of fun things that you can go ahead and see and read when you look at all the pictures in detail. Well, the next morning they discovered that the trap was empty. "Look!" shrieked Hannah. "Someone cut the rope. The ship is gone." "We're marooned," wailed the mice. "Our only chance now," said Bouncer, "is to get rid of the Skog before he gets rid of us. Who will volunteer?" "It looks like a job for the rough-riding rowdies," said Jenny. "Whose idea was it to come here anyway?" grumbled Bouncer. All eyes turned back to Jenny. "I have a plan," she said. "We must build a giant kite and tie it to a very long rope. We'll circle a honey jar with one end of the rope, and when the Skog steps into the circle, we will send the kite up into the sky, and the Skog will be pulled into the air and towed out into the sea." And you can see that Jenny has over here a picture of what a Skog looks like. Kind of looks like a dinosaur, doesn't it? So she's showing A, B, and C of her plan being put into placement. That night, the mice hid behind a sand dune, and they kept watch over the honey jar. Just after dawn, a shadowy figure appeared on the beach. It must be the Skog. Let's see. So there you have the mice up at the sand dune. They have the kite. And then you see down on the beach line the rope and the circle. And what did they use to go ahead and entice him as a treat? They have honey. The monstrous creature lurched towards the honey jar. Trembling, the mice sent their kite high into the ocean wind. Ooh, look at that. There's the Skog. And do you see down here where the honey is? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? That's very scary. The plan had worked. But suddenly the Skog came flapping apart, and half of them plunged back to the island. Now here in this picture, you see what was left of the Skog. Now you may not know this, but that stick with the hook on the top of it, that's called a coat hook. So something strange is going on here. The Skog isn't really a scary monster. What could it be? The fallen Skog lay flat and still. "Surrender, you pirate!" puffed Bouncer, and suddenly a little animal appeared. "Don't hurt me," he cried. "We won't hurt you," said Rooster. "We were afraid of you. Why did you wear this monster costume?" "Because I was afraid of you," cried the Skog. "I was frightened by your cannons and your trap." "Well, what happened to our ship?" demanded Bouncer. "Well, I cut the rope because I thought you were sleeping on board," confessed the Skog. "I've been so lonely here, but I decided it was better to be alone than to be afraid." Jenny said, "If only we had talked to each other." So you can see the costume. That was what made up Skog. And then you can see the mice are all gathered around a little guy. I don't know, what is he? Maybe a shrew, a little tiny rodent? And he's huddled down on the ground because he's afraid. Bouncer stepped forward and helped the Skog to his feet, and they all agreed to build a village and live together. Let's make plans right now, suggested Bouncer. The first thing we'll need is a national anthem. Rowdies, you're the orchestra. The rest of you will be the chorus, and I will lead the music. Line up, everybody. And now they're going to sing their song, their national anthem. Heroes, let your voice ring, to our island home we sing. Shelter us from the stormy seas, and keep our kitchen stuffed with cheese. Save our pelts from lice and fleas, and save our pelts from fleas and lice. Shout it once, shout it twice, friends forever, Skog and mice. Well, that's the end of this book. And I think that one good lesson from this book is that we shouldn't always act on our fear. We should listen to Jenny's advice, and we should try to speak to one another, to be friendly as whenever possible, and to be like our good friend here, Socks, and take lots of naps and be good. Well, thank you for joining us. May your day be blessed. Good night, and bye till next time.